can check it off at the Nebraska Builders Home and Garden Show, February 7th through the 9th at the Sandhills Global Event Center. With over 200 businesses under one roof, you'll find the latest in home innovations and experts to handle your dream projects. Admission is just $10, and children 12 and under are free. For more information, visit the Home and Garden Show online at hbal.org.
Stop asking your friends if they're hosting a party this Sunday and come for the real party instead. Join 93.7 The Ticket for the big game at Wings and Rings at 68th and O this Sunday and walk away with great prizes just for showing up. Why worry about making a great spread of food for the game at your house when you can enjoy all the great wings and more at Wings and Rings? It's the big game party with 93.7 The Ticket at Wings and Rings this Sunday at 68th and O.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. Chance of freezing drizzle throughout the day. Otherwise, cloudy skies. National high near 34. Tonight, decreasing clouds with a low around 23. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies and a light breeze with a high near 45. And meteorologist Kyle Buck, 2.7 The Ticket, and theticketfm.com.
When you were a kid, things were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Husker fans, join Nebraska women's hoops as they face Michigan on February 6th at 7 p.m. Get ready for a full day of action as women's basketball is joined by other Husker teams to celebrate National Girls and Women in Sports Day. Arrive early for a meet and greet with Nebraska women's teams including soccer, tennis, track and field, swim and dive, and more. The meet and greet starts at 5:30 p.m. in the North Concourse. Get your tickets now. You won't want to miss this matchup in PBA. For event and ticket information, go to huskers.com/tickets.
February is American Heart Month, and with heart disease as the #1 leading cause of death in Nebraska, now is the best time to start thinking about your health. Maintaining a healthy blood pressure is one of the best ways to avoid heart disease, and the blood pressure screening is fast, easy, and can be free. The best way to get screened is at your yearly wellness visit with your doctor. For more information and ways to get a blood pressure screening, search Chronic Disease Nebraska. Paid for by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman, Old School. Brought to you by the Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients of Butcher Shop, 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, 85th and Andremat, and 168th and Maple up there in the O. Austin, my brother.
Hey, what's up?
Are you still standing after a couple hours of strict?
Hey, man, I've been used to that for 2 years now. It was kind of nice to have a third voice in the room, someone between us. Sometimes it's nice to put the tomfoolery to an end. But I'm used to it, right? We're still getting settled into the three-man rhythm of On the Block. Glad you're feeling a little bit better. Hope to get you back in the building tomorrow because, oh boy, I gotten kind of used to even just, 2 shows where it's not just me and Strick having to keep that man in line. So yeah. I made it. We'll make it. We got the hour of sanity here, though, so we're good.
Yeah, it's hour of sanity. It's crazy that, as I'm reading here, Austin, that today's National Signing Day and nothing's happening.
Not a thing.
Yeah, and I think it's going to probably be maybe 2 signing days. Maybe is that the big one is going to be obviously the early signing period. You still have the big schools to be able to have, guys, like a late qualifier. You don't even got to qualify anymore, but um, something like that. But I think it's more like maybe the FBS and smaller schools will get their fair shake, and that's transfers down to some people that maybe hit the portal a little bit late, maybe after a bowl game, so forth and so on. You saw Devin Hall, he's going out to Kearney, and so that's where you'll see a lot of that action that way. But it's interesting how in like a little over a year, college football has changed so drastic to where this signing period it doesn't even make any like the third page of the newspaper or anything like that in the sports section. It's not even a big deal anymore.
Which is just insane because I think about even, 6-7 years ago, how much drama there still was on signing day, right? I mean, Nebraska had its fair share of sagas trying to get guys to flip or prevent guys from flipping, conversations with parents on signing day that you hear about after the fact. This first Wednesday in February used to be a big deal. Used to be a huge deal. It's where the drama happened. It's where you found out whether a guy was going to come play for the school you root for or not. And it was kind of a national holiday around the sports world. And now I think there's just been such a shift to enrolling early. I think a lot of guys see the benefit of getting out of high school early, getting their coursework taken care of, getting, a little bit of winter conditioning and then spring ball with their new team as a freshman. How much of an advantage that can be for guys, no matter how ready they are to step onto the field. So they're signing more in the early period. And there's a lot more coverage of recruitment as well, right? You can talk to a lot more sources. You can get in contact with coaches, with parents, with families, and kind of get an inclination of which way a guy is leaning. So for as much drama as there is leading up to a commitment, we see all these commitments. I mean, year round is what it really feels like. There's a whole industry, of guys that just make graphics for guys when they're going to commit, and gals as well. So it's still dramatic. There's still, plenty of coverage in signing, but it's not only shifted from this February date to the December date for early signing day. It's really shifted away from one day of drama to these recruits tell you when they're going to commit. Just wait, with your notifications on social media to see where they commit, rather than, hey, check the paper the next day, check the local news to see what happened that night.
Yeah, it's crazy that the I guess you talked about the graphics, and everybody wants their day in the sun. And they're strategic about it. They have their own little brands and business at this day and time. And I think that one of the things that's going to be really really crucial is going to be probably, I don't know if it's going to be coaches or advisors, but they're going to have to start teaching these kids like when to turn the off switch on as far as the notoriety goes, and how much you participate in it. Because if you look at it just over time, the more time that you focus on your brand, it's less away from whatever sports you're playing. So, there's a lot of advantages to it, but then also disadvantages. And you talk about distractions, right? The normal distractions everybody thinks that when you go to college is, or at least used to be, is that, okay, well, you're just away from home, less structure or no structure at all outside of football or basketball or whatever you're playing. And then, you get to go party and, be a college kid. That was just, distractions then. Now I think it's the cell phones, the attention, and everything besides, whatever sport you're on campus to play. So,
and when we incentivize it in high school, they get that rush, that hit of, hey, it was a big deal. People loved this. I felt like I was on top of the world. Obviously, there are pros and cons of the transfer portal, but the way just high school signings work now, I think leads to a lot of what we see with the transfer portal down the road. Just the natural human instinct and reaction to that, I think, starts in high school and they get a taste of it. And then, Jay, it continues through college, transfer portal. I want that again. How do I get that again? Yeah. I get in the portal. I get another graphic for when I commit.
Yeah, man. That, attention or whatever you want to call it it's a powerful drug, man. I mean, it's, if you ever, I'm sure if you talk to Strick, he thinks it's, conspiracy through the phones. I think it is part of, it's controlling our youth, just in general, but then also it's controlling our, our athletes where, they like, I mean, there's no, I guess, we never got recruited at that level. You got the handshakes and the pat on the backs when you got here, but then after that, it was like, okay, you got a couple weeks whether you're coming or not. And, spots were scarce. So you had to get in where you fit in. Now, even if you were good 2 years ago as a recruit and you go somewhere for 2 years and you jump back in the portal, they always reference to what you were coming out of high school.
Yeah.
And so you never lose that star power or whatever you want to call it. And then if you go somewhere else and it starts to hit, well, then it's all worth it. But if not, then you keep going back in the portal, because you hear what people say is like, oh, he was a 3, 4, 5-star recruit coming out of high school, and then maybe he can go somewhere else and figure it out. So, nevertheless, look, it's a day and time of college sports. And so you're happy for the kids to be able to take advantage of it. So hopefully they don't let it take advantage of them. And that's the biggest, conversation piece is the growth of college football is kind of minimize the second signing day period, which used to be, to Nebraska's case. I think when Scott Frost was here, when they had that big haul of kids from Florida and Miami, I think was the second signing period or flips. Now it's kind of, all right, well, you got the second signing day period. And if you signed a couple guys there and you're a Power 4 school, you looked at it like you don't have your ducks in a row, considering that, you just had a big, portal opening, or the portal period was open. And so, maybe the second signing period will go away, but then the early signing period is interesting, because I think it's going to start to get to where you have a period to where you can sign. So I wonder if it's ever going to get to where, say, I want to recruit Austin Oerman, shooting guard from, Lincoln Lutheran. Yes, you're still in high school, but maybe I can sign you like a futures contract, and then somehow, some way, still put some money in your pocket to make sure you don't switch and come, in January or whatever it would be. You're still on the plane to come to my university. So I think this is just a tipping point, but ultimately it's going to be into real professional sports here real soon.
That would be fascinating to have a signing period versus 2 signing days. It does lead me to wonder what that might look like, because obviously the transfer portal and high school recruiting are not the same thing. But we want to make sure that these young men and women that are deciding where they want to take their talents, a la LeBron, I'm deciding to take my talents to South Beach, that they're making the right decision, right? Some of them have it locked in. I mean, these conversations aren't just happening over the course of 1 month. It's speed dating, but it's not. So you would think that most of these young high school athletes going to college would have an idea by the early signing day. I think that's a big part of it, that these conversations have been happening. They know where they feel comfortable. Go with your gut. But at the same time, too, would we see, like the transfer portal, where there's a mad rush, in the door and out the door to get signed first, right? When you're these schools, you want to have your first picks as often as you possibly can. You want to get them signed as quickly as possible. Sometimes you do your due diligence, sometimes you don't. So that's just kind of a natural risk, but I just want to make sure that as best as the NCAA or whatever the football oversight committee becomes, that the incentives are aligned properly, right? Where you're not just signing just to sign, making a rash decision. Because, I mean, yeah, there is that rush of signing, getting it out of the way. But the hope is that the guys and the gals that are conflicted about where they want to go, where they have 2 dream schools, they can't decide between them, maybe the choice is to sign in that first signing period, go with your gut and live with it from there. But maybe for some others, the best decision is sit and wait, right? Take another couple calls over the next few weeks with each coach. See if you can, take an unofficial visit over there, see campus again, talk to academic advisors, whatever it might be. Not easy to do, not simple to do, because you're probably in season or in the middle of training if you're in the off season. But it's just so hard, I think, for 17 and 18-year-olds to wrap their mind around how big a decision it is all the time. Sometimes it's a slam dunk. Sometimes it is one of the biggest decisions of your life. And I just want to make sure that there are those guardrails in place for them, so that as many people as possible are making the right decision for them and getting off on the right foot.
Yeah, I mean, we got an interesting text here on the text line. I was just reading where you're saying that, a lot of the higher end high school kids won't graduate from high school. They'll go get a GED, hone their craft in JUCO, and it won't, count against you. And then, play, at that point in time, I think you only got to play 1 year of college football, because I think the NFL, you essentially have to be out of high school for 3 years. That's there will be some people that are be athletically gifted enough to do that. But I will tell you this is that number one, graduating high school is still needs to be a big deal just because it teaches some life lessons. Number two, JUCO is not a place for the faint of the heart. It's not. It's not. You know that in any sport, you got to be tough to be there. So just going from high school to go down to JUCO and think you're going to hang out in JUCO and all of a sudden come out a better product versus if you went to a Power 4 school for at least a year or two and really dove into those the accountability or in work ethic that you're going to learn at a Nebraska or somewhere like that. You're crazy. So I think it's going to be interesting how this is navigated, but I think people would think JUCO is somewhere a place where unless they start to really pump some money into JUCOs and coaches and facilities and then development, sure. But there's not enough JUCOs or enough money that they're going to be able to do it. I think the best bet is to make the best decision. And like you said, these kids have the luxury of the way recruiting is now. Official visits aren't that big a deal because they come on unofficial visits all the time. And I think, I don't know.
Basically unlimited officials anymore too.
Right. And I think they can pay, find ways to reimburse you when you come. Like, some guys are so high profile, you got to pay them probably to go to camps and stuff. I mean, these guys are, got quite a little bit of hustle going on. So I think it's just the way it's going right now. It's going to continue to evolve until there is a committee and a true commissioner. Until then, it's going to be a free for all. But then also, I think instead of fighting it, find your way to kind of dive into it and still, have some dignity about yourself, about how you operate in business, business wise, because ultimately at the end, you want to get the best players, put them in the best situations, best coaches, and then obviously win the most games possible. Because the more you win, the more you get paid, and the more you get paid, the bigger the piece of the pie is. So ultimately, it starts at the high school levels, but then it's going to go all the way up to college. And then obviously when you go to the pros, it's a whole nother step. And we'll talk about the Super Bowl and what the commissioner said about 18 games. And I think that'll trickle down into college, right? The more games that are added to the NFL schedule, it will add to the college schedule. Now, how that goes is maybe increase the conference games or decrease the conference games and maybe have like 2 separate seasons where you have non-conference and kind of like pool play where you're just kind of getting your, kinks worked out. I mean, because when you look at Ohio State this year, the first quarter of the season, it was like practice for them. Yeah, they were trying to figure it out. And even that Oregon game, yes, they were playing really good in the Rose Bowl, but it's humanly impossible to play that well against a team that it was undefeated like that. So they were using the first part of the season, get the kinks out. You can lose a game or two, and especially if you have the media attention about you. Once you get into the tournament, anybody can win. So I think it's going to change college football as well. And then that will change the sign-up period, and then it will change the whole landscape of, early commitments, decommitments. You'll start to see people get fined, right? So if you are under a pre-contract, right, where there's a sign-in period, you're going to, I guess they call it, I'm just looking right here, it's called a transfer fee in European soccer. So if I get transferred to Austin Oerman's team, the Austin Oerman's team has to pay the team I leave a fee, and then you got to pay me. So it's got to be worth it. So you want that decommitment to be worth it as well. And if they could ever get it to where the coaches have some sort of, and they probably won't because I think they're in a union, but some sort of transfer fee, or where you trade a coach, right? Say like Ryan Day is on the hot seat and there's some university like North Carolina or somebody that wants him, or you're going to have to give up something. So this is all like in the future, but we would have never thought 10 years ago college football players would be getting paid this much. You would never think a college football player, even if you knew in the future would be getting paid, will be getting paid up to upwards, hundreds of $1,000s, let alone a few guys getting paid millions. And whether that's perks and benefits or cars and rent paid or whatever, but ultimately they're putting a lot of cash in their pocket for a game that a lot of guys played for free for decades and upon decades prior to that.
And that's one of the big things I think of this changing landscape and era of college football, especially in college athletics in general, is some of the rules that were in place were legitimately good. They were there with good rationale and for a reason. Other rules the NCAA got away with, it didn't make any sense, and it's just now coming to light. So many people have grown up with the system being a certain way, and it's hard to
Right.
think critically about this stuff because of just how complicated it is, how much information comes out, at the very least weekly, if not daily, sometimes out of a fire hose, right? Not just a drip faucet. So it's a challenge, but I think the goal and the objective of people that are talking about this, I know we do our best, and especially the people that are changing the rules, make sure they're making the right changes for the right reason, right? You can't just say, it's the day and age, it's the era, we're gonna scrap it all, blow it all up and start over. Because I'm sure there's some good parts of the NCAA rulebook and rules and regulations that were in place for a reason, but you got to make sure you know what the rationale for them was. Because, like you said, a high school education should still matter. I'm not saying get rid of early enrollees, right? If someone has their grades in order, they're in good academic standing, they can graduate early and then get to winter conditioning and spring ball, more power to them. But should we be pushing more and more kids that way? Or should we be saying, hey, you got the rest of your life ahead of you, chill, go to prom, you won't be that far behind if you only get in for summer ball, play Legion ball if you want to over the summer and then come. Like, I guess not many, high enough level Division I football players would be doing that. But like my job, especially built on sports, right? We're here hosting a sports talk radio show, and that's kind of what our career is built on right now, is talking about stuff like this and talking about sports. They're important. They're fun. They have a necessary place in society. But at the same time, do we get too carried away? Do we put too much focus on it for a higher percentage of the kids? Like Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, sure, go all in and absolutely focus on it. But do we need to push, a third string offensive lineman to the same degree as we push the guys that have the dream of going to the NFL? Standards are standards. I'm not saying hold them less accountable or anything, but we got to be realistic about it too, where not everyone's going to the league. More guys, should maybe put more of an emphasis on school and what comes next, or enjoying high school, even if they don't see the benefit of it in the moment, because they'll look back on that, fonder in 30 years, 40 years, whatever it is, than, really pushing through the grind of school just to get to college and miss out on these things they don't even know they're missing out on in high school.
Yeah, I mean, it's a individual basis, and it's a tough decision to make because, I would think you need to push everybody just to get to the maximum, because I think it's more ideally, life lessons. You got to, sacrifice something to, or sacrifice to get whatever you want. And, obviously the 1% of the 1% is generally who makes it to the highest level, and the 0.5% of that usually sticks, and that's never going to change. But I think also the importance of, school can be part of the equation as well. I don't think you have to totally nullify school, considering what you just said the numbers are. And so, we got to, I think I'm reading here, Old Man 34 that says, college football might need a reset. I think the bigger question is, do you think college football needs to hit rock bottom to force the reset? Now, rock bottom might be viewership go down, not good product, lose a lot of the coaches because of the wild, wild west. Whatever needs to happen to get the attention of everybody to say, okay, let's do something that benefits everybody instead of just benefits the 10 to 20 schools that so happen to be able to spend the most money. The 10 to 20 coaches that are actually truly invested, maybe that's what needs to happen in order to, get some people to not only hear you, but listen. So, there's a lot of suggestions out there. Things are going to, change over time and continue to continue to like push the mark and be like, I never would thought we'd get here, but I think things are changing at such a rapid pace. I think nothing's off the table. You got a, insightful dude texted in. He said Carter Nelson stayed for high school for state track, and look for him. That's great. It's something that he wanted to do. He's a great athlete, and I think it's an individual choice, and where you fit into the short and intermediate and long term plans also dictate that as well. But then also, I think when you have a coach and coaching staff like Coach Rule, that are really trying to still develop players in this, I guess, fast forwarded vacuum of college, sports, and being true to their words, it allows kids like Carter Nelson to finish out things that he wants to do. And so, it just kind of depends on the school, where they're at as a team, where you're at as a coaching staff and tenure. But ultimately, the players and the families have, the right to say, yes or no when they want to go in the college and get a, early start. And I like getting in there early. I wish I could have got in there early, but ultimately it worked out for me. And I had to wait a year, and I needed to even probably, that extra 6 months when I was still in the basketball court to probably get, focusing on football. But I like playing another sport. And ultimately they didn't need me at Nebraska when I was coming out of Austin, believe it or not. They did not need.
They just didn't know they needed you.
That's true. They didn't know they needed a kid about 6'3", listed at 6'3". I was only about 6'2". Said I was 195, 200. Brother was about 185, 184. They didn't know that they needed me, and I didn't know that they needed them until we got here, and it worked out. So, anyways, that's the first segment here on Old School. We're going to take a quick break, come back, and talk about what if the NFL goes to 18 games. And was it, I guess, the bite of the bad apple to do 17? Because if you do it's kind of like Austin. If you got three, I don't know this, but they always say if you got 3 kids, you might as well go to 4, right? So we'll take a quick break. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. Chance of freezing drizzle throughout the day. Otherwise, cloudy skies. National high near 34. Tonight, decreasing clouds with a low around 23. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies and a light breeze with a high near 45. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fleck from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call John Henry's at 402-435-5555 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-435-5555.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Husker fans, join Nebraska women's hoops as they face Michigan on February 6th at 7 p.m. Get ready for a full day of action as women's basketball is joined by other Husker teams to celebrate National Girls and Women in Sports Day. Arrive early for a meet and greet with Nebraska women's teams including soccer, tennis, track and field, swim and dive, and more. The meet and greet starts at 5:30 p.m. in the North Concourse. Get your tickets now. You won't want to miss this matchup in PBA. For event and ticket information, go to huskers.com/tickets.
Hey volleybalfans, this is Laura Dijkema, national player of the Netherlands and now the setter on Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering for us in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Oma volleyball in action. Go Big Green!
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Hey, Husker Nation. This is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top-quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to old school on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back to old school. Foreman and Oerman, second segment. We're going to jump to Roger Goodell in 18 games. We're not, but we're going to take a pause for that, Austin. The anonymous NIL collective, I don't know, I'm reading it here. Personnel staffers say Auburn, Nebraska, Ohio State, Oregon, Tennessee, Texas, and Texas A&M spent the most in the recruiting of the 2025 recruiting classes. Now, it doesn't say whether it's the portal and high school, or it's just high school, or one or the other. But ultimately, it bodes well for Nebraska when you're thinking about being able to get back into, relevancy is, and obviously you make a bowl game that makes it a little bit easier. And you got to, when you get big time recruits, like we were able to get Dylan Raiola last year, they don't come for free. And so I got some pretty good dudes with Merritt, and obviously you got Jones and some other guys that are coming as high school kids. And so, we had Mims. I think we flipped him from another school. So, I just think of when I'm looking at this right now and reading it, I think it's, one of those things that, bodes well for Nebraska and the fan base, so where you can't say, I think maybe you could have probably said prior, Nebraska could have spent more, but I think that, Nebraska probably fell victim of trying to do everything in the right way. And remember when Texas A&M had that number one recruiting class and they were like 7-6 and they spent, I think at that time, $30 million. Then none of the guys even there. They're all over across the nation. We even have one, Elijah Judy, and then reading here, one of the defensive linemen is Nolan from Mississippi State, and so forth and so on. So Nebraska, obviously, with the support, with the collective 1890 collective, according to this report, is doing a good job. And so now you got to mix the groceries per se. That's the old Bill Parcells ism. And so you gotta bake the goods. And so that, that's a collective effort from the coaches, the players, support staff, former players, anybody that's able to kind of assist and help out in any way possible. And so, I think look, you got the big part done. That's what you're writing the checks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to make sure they're good checks, right? Hey, Austin, what's funny is, I like to grill sometimes, right? Because it's the easiest thing. Generally you don't have to read instructions. I just turn it on the internet. But sometimes if you go to the store and you think you're getting, I don't know, like a prime cut. You know what I'm saying? You want to pay for a prime. If you're paying for $50 for a steak, you want to make sure it's the type of cut that you want. That's a shameless plug to every type of meat, every type of cut of that butcher shop at the Mercado, which you will get the best cut of meats out there at all four of their locations, 3 in Lincoln, 1 in Omaha. But I think the thing that's very interesting is that you got to make sure you when you spend the money, obviously you want to make sure that the players are worth it. And I think I would hate for me if I'm buying something. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say we're buying players, but if I'm paying for something, I guess, and then don't have any control, because we just talked about, how they love the, kids anybody would love to get recruited.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the small part. Everybody likes to get paid for things you did in the past, and you're not held accountable for what you do in the present, right? So, you never know the player and the hard work that you might see, from Jay Foreman coming from so-and-so high school. Once I get a little money in my pocket, I feel like I've arrived. I might not be the same player that they essentially paid for to get here. And so that's where I think it's a little bit of a crapshoot, and this is a big time money. I'm not a big gambler, so it's a crapshoot in the sense of you're throwing money at some young, immature, not fully developed mentally young human beings, male and female. And then so now you're expecting them to operate against adults at times, and being an older team obviously helps you out, as we saw with Ohio State. It's a crapshoot, but like I said, this time it's a lot of money. It's not, you're not at the $5 or $10 table down in Vegas. You're at the high roller stakes in, I don't know, wherever, like the Bellagio or the Palms. It's $1,000 a hand, and also I've never been there, but I'm just guessing. But it's $1,000 a hand, and you can't blink twice if you've lost 5 or 10 hands in a row. You got to keep at it. So I think that's one of the biggest things that's very, very apparent is the amount of money, and it's a crapshoot, and you don't have any control, or control would be accountability.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily on performance. It's on, are you showing up? Well, I guess a little bit of performance, but ultimately the things that make you a good player, are you doing those on and off the field? Generally, they don't have a lot of accountability the other way.
That's just the thing. There's a lot there. I'm going to go to that article you pointed out too. The first question: who spent the most money on their 2025 class? SEC collective number one said Texas, and that Texas schools in general spent a lot of money. Okay, that's not shocking. Texas wants to stay in the college football playoff race, stay at or near the top of the SEC. Big 12's NIL collective said Oregon's a big spender. No duh, we know there's a lot of money there. Texas A&M's a big spender. No duh, have a lot of money there. And then, of course, Ohio State, and then Nebraska, they said, is a school that spent. Other collectives said Texas, Ohio State, Tennessee, Oregon and Ohio State, Texas, Oregon, A&M, and then Auburn, right? I would kind of right now lump, your Oregons, your Ohio States in a category with Ohio State, Oregon, Texas is probably one group. I would say A&M and Tennessee are in that next group where they have had some tangible signs of success. They're both kind of competing in that upper middle part of the SEC, so that's a group. And then it's Auburn and Nebraska are two places with their fair share of football tradition and history that are doing the best they can to get up back to the mountain climb, right? Maybe not the top of the mountain right now, but at least start their way back up that path. And I think that you can understand the investment from all three levels, right? You got to spend money to stay on top. It makes sense that Texas, Ohio State, Oregon are spending. You got to spend money to compete, to try to push you over the edge. It makes sense that A&M and Tennessee would spend money. And then if you're not where you want to be, you got to splash some cash around to get back to where you want to be, a la Auburn and Nebraska. So I think that's kind of an interesting breakdown from the five people that answered that question at the very least. And then I want to touch on the part two where you talked about you want to get paid for what you've done, not necessarily what you're going to do. Jay, that's just a fundamental sort of issue when it comes to contracts, specifically in sports, and where college, I think, is in a little bit of a weird realm. Because I think about in Major League Baseball, where you pay, Miguel Cabrera $25 million, $30 million a year just to kind of flail and hit singles because he's not the same hitter he once was, even if he's the same person. Albert Pujols, you're paying a lot of money for a big name pitcher who's not throwing 95 anymore. He's throwing 88 and trying to survive with pitchability and 17 different off-speed pitches. The players deserve to be paid to some degree for who they were, because especially in baseball, especially in football, maybe a little bit in the NBA, but you get that money a little sooner there. You don't make that much for the first handful of years of your career. So the players have to have a way to make up some of that money, especially when they were vastly overperforming their rookie contracts. But teams have gotten really smart now, Jay, in just simple money management, right? Why are we going to pay a guy when he's 35, 36, 37? Yeah, we appreciate him. We love what you did for the franchise and what you meant to us, but we can't be a charity case. We can't just be handing out money left or right for what you did. We got to focus on now in the future, not on the past. That's just a natural, innate sort of, headbutt between players, especially really good young players and organizations. They have different priorities. They have to balance different books. And that's where college is so fascinating, and college football too, because these guys are going to be around for 3 years. That's not a lot of time to figure out what a guy is or what a guy can be. And it's certainly, hopefully, not the best level that a guy is, right? We know the top 1% of the top 1% go on from the NFL to college, but at least in the pros, you have time and you have ways to make up some of that money when you're maybe underpaid or maybe you're overpaid for a year or two because of what you did historically. In college, just naturally, by the way the rules are set up, you don't have that same earning window. So the teams want to see the investment pay off right away. They want to pay for what they think you can be. And players want to make that money right away because they know that the next level isn't a sure thing. They want to make their money right away up front. So it's the same sort of headbutt, same sort of conundrum that teams and players are facing, but just kind of tweaked for the college game.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. I just think that there's some regulation, but then also I think right now there's no turning back. I think people are smart. They'll find you'll end up with brown bags on your front door. It's like, oh, I forgot to bring you 100,000. So I think they'll find a way around it to keep paying the players. I just think that there needs to be some sort of like two-way street to where either if you don't perform or you want to make adjustments both to the player's favor and not, that you got to be able to do so. Now, I also think that this is also interesting that, you're getting paid for what you did in high school. Mm-hmm. Sure. Maybe you do a freshman cap. But in order to get the big ones, you got to pay for it. I mean, I always wonder, like, for every Jeremiah Smith, there's John Smith that was supposed to be Jeremiah Smith, and he's not playing football or basketball anymore or whatever sport. I just always wonder, what could you have done in high school to come in and be paid more than your defense or offensive coordinator?
Oh, no kidding.
Or
Nothing.
Sometimes, if you go to, depends on the percent of this capper that you're getting, you'll be making more per cap than like your head coach at some schools, depending on, obviously the finances. So it's always just interesting how they're going to go about it and try, maybe not a regulated, because regulation is probably a little bit too harsh of a word, but maybe just try to make some, hard line adjustments and then see who pushes the envelope after that, because I think that's what it's going to come down to.
I agree. Just really briefly, all I have to add is that there's that very fine line between having enough control and having too much control, because there's a simple way to do this, and it's flat fee. Flat rate. Everyone gets the same no matter what. That would simplify it, right? At least on the surface. But then underneath, do we want to take away the free market principles that mean that not every starting quarterback in the NFL makes the same amount of money because some are better, some are worse, right? There's a reason that the market system has endured the way it has. It works pretty well, but that's not to say it's perfect. It's not to say that there don't sometimes need to be little hand checks, right? To think about it like the NBA or even let's use the football example, keep that going. Yeah, quarterbacks were getting rocked. They're football players, but I can understand from the NFL's sake where, hey, if these guys, they're the ones you want to be the draw, the ones you want to sell tickets and memorabilia and merch and whatnot, sure, protect them a little bit. So yeah, maybe you legislate a little differently for quarterbacks, but maybe it's swung too far. And I think that's one of those things that is going to be a rule that goes back and forth. Where is the sweet spot? You're never going to take human error out of the game. You're never going to take the human element out of it. You can only control so much. So getting better, at judging that human element, what looks like it, what it actually was, finding the balance of replay, whatever it is, financials, on-field rules, you're just trying to find that sweet spot in the middle and stay there as long as you can. Except problem is, it's not just about the athletes, the collectives, and the coaches, right? It's a much bigger picture than that. And it's never just as simple as one layer deep, which makes staying in that equilibrium so incredibly difficult, and why we have these conversations the way we do and when we do.
Yeah, I mean, it's hey man, it's interesting just how they're gonna go about it, and I think old dad 34 is gonna text in every single time we have a point, like he says, hit the reset button.
That's great. What does the reset button look like? What does it
I
do?
think it's one of those things, Austin. You're constantly hitting it. It's just, you're constantly hit. You're gonna just constantly, because there's so many moving parts, because you let it get out of control. You're just going to spend the next 10 years trying to get unwrap whatever you did in the first 2 years of this NIL and transfer portal updates and amendments that went to it, that you're going to spend the next 10 years trying to fix those problems while the other ones are accumulating. So you're constantly, chasing a never ending story, but that's what you signed up for. That's what they get paid for. I think my advice would be is for any of the high school kids out there, if you know anybody on that committee, I want to be getting paid the year before they put in the regulations, or what do they call it, grandfathered or something?
Grandfathered.
Yeah. I'm signing this contract
now. It's going away next year. Give it
to
me.
Or sign this deal. Sign two of them. One that's pre and one is post. And then you can postmark them whenever you want it. So I think that you need to find a way around it to make sure that you can take advantage of it. But I'm assuming pretty soon it's going to be some sort of flat fee or flat base play, especially in the first year or two, and then they'll go from there. It's going to ruffle some feathers, but ultimately, there's only a few feathers left to ruffle, because the free for all is essentially blowing everything off of the I guess the bird per se, and so we'll see where it goes. Well, it's going to be interesting. Anyways, we're going to take a quick break, come back, and I'm going to pose the question to Austin. What's the better chance? Okay, I'm going to ask you this. What is the better chance? I want you to think about this, Austin. What's the best chance, or a scale of 1 to 7? What's the chance of Jimmy Butler going to Phoenix and Kevin Durant going to the Heat? 1 to 7. 1 not likely, 7 most likely. We'll take a quick break, come back. Austin to answer that question. I got my own rating on it. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman, Old School. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through February 11th is $2 off burgers, limit of 2, 20% off sauces and spices, and 5 pounds of 75/25 ground beef for $20, limit of 2 while supplies last. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, 4-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606
or visit high-electric.com to get started.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. Chance of freezing drizzle throughout the day. Otherwise, cloudy skies. National high near 34. Tonight, decreasing clouds with a low around 23. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies and a light breeze. The high near 45. Our meteorologist Kyle Buck from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and we wanted to give a special shout out to all of our great customers, thanking you all for a record-setting year in 2024. Now let's get the new year rolling with some big savings. Right now at Cobble, we have some of the biggest discounts in the area with over $12,000 off list price or 0% APR on select new models. So stop on in the dealership or hit us up online at cobblecars.com to get true low country overhead in action. $12,000 off list or 0% APR right now at Cobble. So please stop on in or visit us at cobblecars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Stop asking your friends if they're hosting a party this Sunday and come for the real party instead. Join 93.7 The Ticket for the big game at Wings and Rings at 68th and O this Sunday and walk away with great prizes just for showing up. Why worry about making a great spread of food for the game at your house when you can enjoy all the great wings and more at Wings and Rings? It's the big game party with 93.7 The Ticket at Wings and Rings this Sunday at 68th and O.
Back to old school on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman posed the question to the man of the hour about Kevin Durant, Jimmy Butler. Just because of the rash of trades, you know, Austin, I saw Middleton. Man, I need a new hat, Austin. I'm looking busted right now.
I wasn't going to tell you. I think you're pulling it off, Jay.
Hey, man, I'm not, man. I was going to tell you, man, my back hurts, feet hurt. I just broke down. I mean, that's cool. I just admit it. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, Middleton gets jettisoned to the Wizards. He ain't gonna play there, right? There's no way, right? Can he do a buyout?
I don't know.
But he has a player option.
Right. I don't know. I get why Washington would take him. I mean, that's a veteran presence who was really good for Milwaukee. I think he could be good for that young core. But holy cow, Milwaukee, what a slap in the face to one of your at least 10 most influential players in franchise history, right? I mean, so many other places look to at least try to do right by their guy who wasn't exactly the problem, wasn't maybe peak Chris Middleton, but to send him from a team that's, contending for home court advantage in the first round in the East to the Washington Wizards, and he's meant that much to your franchise over the last, 10, 12 years. Oh, man.
Hey, Giannis better be going up in there and being mad, man. I'm telling you. And you know what? You know what did him in? He had 2 ankle surgeries this offseason. I know exactly what he's about to go through. Anyways, Austin, I asked you, scale of 1 to 10, how likely is it that Jimmy Butler is going to be in what is it, the land of the rising sun?
Mm-hmm.
And then Kevin Durant's going to the Miami Heat.
The NBA is just such a star-driven league, which I don't know if Jimmy Butler qualifies as that anymore. Certainly a star personality for the league. I mean, he's getting star-level drama. Is he worth all this hubbub at this point as a player? Probably not. But Phoenix seems to think that he's a missing piece. Jimmy really wants to go to Phoenix. And when you raise enough of a stink in the NBA, if you're, a good enough player, meet the bare minimums of a star, you tend to get your way. So from that aspect of things, it's a 7. It's just a matter of time. We'll see if it gets done in the next 20 hours or whatever. Just saw this from Twitter here. It sounds like, obviously Kevin Durant has stated his preference is to remain with Phoenix, but at this point, I would too. Luka Doncic should be probably more untradeable than Kevin Durant at this stage in their careers. Both guys are balling. So if Luka got traded, hey, sorry, Kevin, you forced your way out of town with a lot of trades and signings, so this one might not be your choice, but you've done it before, so get used to it. He would obviously like Kevin Durant, who's still kind of an apex predator in the NBA. But some of the holdups for the deal is that the Suns being over the second luxury tax apron is really holding things back there, because that means Miami can't just pair Jimmy Butler with prospects, because the Suns can't take back more salary than they're giving out because they're over the second apron. And the Suns can't send out more than one player making the minimum to help facilitate this deal. So there are plenty of logistics to work out with that. So I would say I am a 2 out of 7 confident this gets done tonight. I'm a 3.5 to 4.5 confidence out of 7 that this gets done by, lunchtime tomorrow. But I'm 6.5, 7 confident that it gets done eventually, just because of that's how the NBA works in this modern era.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. We're up against the clock, so we're going to turn it over. Next, we have the Lighthouse Hour with Bill Michener. He always brings a lot of light and good news about the Lighthouse, which I feel very closely with. He does a really good job. Bill's a good dude, and also has really, really good sports takes. So that's old school for you. The broke down edition with Jay Foreman. Yes, I hear you, Dave from Renew. My wallet is about to hurt. But anyways, we're going to turn it over to Bill Michener and the Lighthouse crew. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman. We'll holler at you tomorrow.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
At Lincoln Family Chiropractic, they believe everyone deserves to live a pain-free and active life. Whether it's neck pain, shoulder pain, or lower back pain, Lincoln Family Chiropractic specializes in customized care for every patient to promote faster healing, allowing you to get back to an optimal life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic's team specializes in treatments such as dry needling, cupping therapy, and traditional adjustments. Give Lincoln Family Chiropractic a call today, 402-484-5166. Visit them online at lincolnfamilychiro.com or in person, 1 block south of 70th and 8th Street in Lincoln.
Hey volleyball fans, this is Laura Dijkema, National Player of the Netherlands, and now the setter on Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering for us in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha volleyball in action. Go Big Green!
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Ready to spruce up your space? No matter what project is on your list, you can check it off at the Nebraska Builders Home and Garden Show, February 7th through the 9th at the Sandhills Global Event Center. With over 200 businesses under one roof, you'll find the latest in home innovations and experts to handle your dream projects. Admission is just $10, and children 12 and under are free. For more information, visit the Home and Garden Show online at hbal.org.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket.